Wisconsin. And they force another turnover. Bret Bielema's guys come through again. 41 takes it, and he gets drilled right away.
Snap is clean. The Bush steps up. Pressure is light, and the kick is away. It's a good kick. Howell backpedaling, and still backpedaling. Muffed it inside the 25. Loose near the 20. Loose inside the 20, and Steve Johnson recovers. Presley and Brown in the eye. Here's the snap, handoff. Brown working the right side, hit behind the line of scrimmage. Stays up inside the 5, and he dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Another wild one in the Metrodome as the Badgers outscored Minnesota 41-34. Zach Brown runs for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Tyler Donovan runs and throws for scores as Wisconsin keeps possession of this. Paul Bunyan's axe for another year. That's 11 wins in the last 13 meetings between the Badgers and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Bret Bielema on the road this week, so graciously joining us as Badgers offensive coordinator Paul Chryst. Paul, I don't know what it is about the Dome, but every game there, it seems, has just been crazy, and Saturday was no exception, but great work by your guys finding a way with all the injuries as they were mounting.
It was really a heck of a deal, and you think about it, I don't know if it's the Dome or just rivalry games, and it's a great time of the year, and it had all of it. You know, we had the bounce, you know, they got the one score bounce off, you think it's a pick, and then the punt, and they fumble it, and just plays that, you know, you think, wow, those are something else. And it is. I think it's part of rivalries as much as the Dome.
Yeah, really wildly entertaining game as usual. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. Raucous crowd as always at the Metrodome. And here's your guy, Tyler Donovan, making something out of what looked like a negative, turned it into a positive, and a 15-yard run.
I mean, that's him all year, and he's done some unbelievable things. That's exactly how we draw it up, though. We just want to make him bail out of there, make it look like a pass. But he is a heck of a competitor. And anytime a quarterback can make plays with his feet, it's something else.
15-yard run. Let's move on to the second quarter. Badgers playing from behind here. How about this guy, Zach Brown, a 64-yard run?
I thought the most thing that he did is he was patient with a lot of his runs. And right there you can see him starting to hit the zone to the left, and then it's kind of a design cutback play. And obviously guys did a heck of a job up front when a back has 250-some yards, but he did some great, big-time plays there. You see him make a guy miss, another guy safety misses, and so it was a heck of a day for him.
Unfortunately, the Badgers come up empty on the possession, still down 10 as we move on to the second quarter. Defensive highlight, Shane Carter, his 7th interception of the year.
Is that something? I mean, he's been on a roll here lately. I don't know how many he's had in the last couple games, but Shane has been making some plays, and we're getting turnovers, and that changes the momentum of games fast.
Yep, had 2 interceptions against Michigan, adds 1 more against the Gophers. And here's Zach again. Unfortunately, this gets called back, but again, just an example of Zach working and getting a 9-yard run on the play.
He really did. I think all day he was patient and did a heck of a job.
Again, unfortunately, this was called back, but the Badgers were able to handle this penalty, this little setback on a throw and a great catch right here to Travis Beckman.
Just continues to make plays for us. You know, you can see him kind of a little slow there, and obviously later on what happens to him. But Travis is one of those guys that he expects every ball to be thrown to him and to make every catch. And the thing about him is he does come up with them, and he put a good location on it, and he finishes the play there.
Great job of hanging on after taking that hit. Here's Tyler on the run and using that athleticism, little patented spin move that he has going too to get into the end zone.
Yeah, I think this is also the play that he hurt his hand on, and before the half, and yet he does. He just, one thing we saw and held up true on film, they were going to close on the edge a little bit, and so Tyler was a heck of a threat for us, and he does. He continues to make plays. That spin makes me nervous at times.
It gets into the end zone, and the Badgers pull within 3 at 13-10. Opportunity to get some points at the end of the half. David Gilreath, one of the Minnesota Badgers, if you will, coming through with a big return right here.
Well, what an impact he had all game. A couple over 50, and we got the ball in great field position. That was disappointing we didn't convert and take advantage of some of the great field position we had, but it was really neat to see David do some big things up there in his hometown.
Unfortunately, as Paul mentioned, the Badgers did not score on the possession. Taylor Melhoff with a 46-yard field goal that struck the right upright, so it's still 13-10. Some disappointment at some missed opportunities, Paul, but you're moving the ball offensively, so I would think it wasn't the worst feeling in the world for you guys at the half?
No, we did some good things. We were moving the football, and yet we knew it was going to be one of those type of games where we can't be settling for field goals. And you know, Taylor missed one, but we had some, those weren't easy field goals.
Right.
And we were down the inside low red zone, and we need to do a better job of finishing that out. And so, just like every week, I'll tell the guys, we got one more chance to keep getting better. But there was some great plays being made, and so I'm proud of the way guys just keep responding and going at it. But yeah, we'd like to finish it. We made it a little bit harder than it had to be.
Yeah, but in the second half, you finished it early and often. A little bit later, we'll salute the senior class of the Wisconsin Badgers. But up next, we'll check out some of the second half highlights of Saturday's shootout in Minneapolis. The Badger Sports Report continues. At the half, Minnesota leads Wisconsin 13-10. To say the least, business picks up in the next 30 minutes, and it begins with another big punt return from David Gilreath. We mentioned David, one of several Minnesota Badgers on the UW roster, and this guy had a day. You know, playing in front of a lot of family and friends, I'm sure. 56-yard return here, Paul.
You know, what was impressive, too, on this is the number of blocks, and you know, there's a couple good decisions as well. How many times you see a big punt return or kickoff return, and guys making good decisions of when to block and when not to block, when to pull off. Good job by Juice there, Jameel Walker, and there's just a lot of great plays, and that's the neat thing about those units is everyone has to do it together. How many times we sit there and say, well, if we'd had one block, it'd have been a big one. And guys made plays, not just David.
And it leads to a touchdown as the Badgers waste very little time. Here's Zach, 16-yard run, picking his way through the Minnesota defense.
Again, I thought he did a heck of a job. The fullbacks did a good job leading through press especially, and we got a little bit of action with Billy spelling Zach there, but you see good job on the double teams. Travis actually getting a nice block right there on the edge, and that was a heck of a way to start it off for us. Great field position and then finishing, which we hadn't done earlier. Badgers
have the lead back on the move as Donovan goes to the air. Garrett Graham, 22 yards here.
That was one of the first ones that we really got Garrett going on. We had him miss a couple opportunities early in the first half, and it was good to throw the ball someone else other than Travis. But you know, that's the only thing we didn't get done was to get the ball to the receivers more. But tight ends did a good job.
And we're going to see the other tight end here, Travis Beckham, on the receiving end. Great job again, Donovan, avoiding the pressure and finds Beckham. This is a 30-yard gain.
That just kills the defense. You know, they got a guy coming free down the middle, which we obviously got to keep working to clean up, but then he avoids it and finds a way to make a play, and it's there it is right there, just making plays. And that's one thing he's done consistently. He's fun to watch.
It really is. Leads to a Taylor Melhoff 20-yard field goal. Later in the third, we will see Zach gets loose again, 60 yards on this run.
Love the way he finishes it, too. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and just did a heck of a job getting down there. Garrett Graham doing a nice job of pulling around, and you know, John Moff, Billy Nagy played a couple snaps when Moff got hurt, and so guys did a good job there. Andy Kemp actually getting around on the edge, so there was a lot of play. And the one thing about our group now is they will give you everything they have and try to whack you around.
And they did on that play. And then we go to the fourth quarter, and Billy Rentmeester. This was close. They had to review it, but it is a touchdown.
I think this is one of those where no matter what the call was, there wasn't. The first replay had a shot at the guy's leg. You know, they don't. So there's just a big mess right there, and so it was a good push right there. And this was big. I remember, you know, we had some time to talk about this one and try to get guys going, but this was a big play for us.
Badgers had the lead early in the fourth quarter, and then Minnesota down 7, trying a fake punt. And Devin Jones was able to prevent this from turning into a big play.
I love seeing that play. The only thing that made me nervous is that all of a sudden now they're going to think he's a safety or something. We're going to lose him. But that was a heck of a big play right there, and they had a penalty on it, but we were able to just get the ball once again in great field position. There's a heck of a burst there by Devin. He's kind of got just that natural football instinct. Made some plays as a gunner on punt as well.
Yeah, very exciting prospect as a receiver for the Badgers. Then we move on. Here's Zach, 17 more through the Minnesota defense. as he continues to push Wisconsin deeper in the Gophers' territory, and this will lead to a Tyler Donovan touchdown pass to Travis Beckham. Here's a play where Travis gets hurt.
Yeah, Donovan just extended, wanted to make sure he got it. Really, you look at it again and not so sure. I think he thought he was a little bit further out, but what a tremendous comparator. Nice job picking up the pressure right there, and TD recognized it, and Travis finishing. And so, you know, hopefully we get a little bit of time here and get himself back. Big play here, huh?
Yeah, muffed punt here for Minnesota. Good punt from Ken DeBush. And here's your long snapper on the punt. Steve Johnson busted down the field, gets the recovery.
All the guys from Brookfield kind of have their special little story there in the dome, and that was a big-time play. Like you said, a great pump by Kenny, and Devin's hustling down there, kind of gets the first lick, and then Steve just hustling. And that's a little bit, I think, what our group is. You know, combination of different guys, young and old, making their strict, going to make a play, and then Steve gets his chance to be a little bit of the dome history.
Absolutely. As this leads to a touchdown, Zach Brown, great job of maintaining balance here to get into the end zone.
That was something now. I mean, you see running backs practice that a lot, and you think, when are they going to use that? But this was a heck of a run and just determined. And that was the fun thing about it. And we talked about it with Zach and kind of put, you know, you've been a nice story the last couple of weeks. How about being the real story? And he responded.
Yeah, he absolutely was the real story on Saturday. As you take a look, that was reviewed. Call on the field stood. Badgers now up 14. But look at this. Here's one you draw up too, right? As an offensive coordinator, as Ralph Spry off the deflection, 71 yards, and one-score game again.
That's your rivalry game right there. Yeah. Weird things happening, be it in the dome or whatnot. And you know, the thing was, those guys just kept going. And we've been on the other side of it last time we were up in the dome and seeing things happen. So our guys just kept pressing on, and obviously at the end get a big play.
Right here, Ben Strickland off the deflection. Game, set, match. Is able to run out the clock there as the Badgers get the win, 41-34, and keep possession of Paul Bunyan's axe for another year as the Badgers beat the Gophers for the 11th time in the last 13 games. In a few minutes, we'll talk about what's next for the Badgers, but after this break, a little tip of the cap to the senior class. We'll be right back. The Wisconsin Badgers senior class now has been a part of a school record 40 victories in their careers, with a chance, of course, for 41 in the bowl game. It's an interesting group. It includes a few players who certainly have had to wait for their turn, and when that turn came, they made the most of their opportunities. Here then, the class of 2007.
Defensive lineman, Justin Kozlowski. Number 20, James Kamogu. Number 38, Ben Landgraf.
I've got too much on my plate.
45, Joel
Don't have
Ridley.
no time to be a decent lover.
Number 12,
I hope it isn't too late. Searching for the time that has gone so fast. The time that I thought would last. My ever-present past.
Walker,
I've got too much on my mind.
Andrew Weininger.
I think of everything to be discovered. I hope there's something to find. Searching through the time that has gone so fast. The time that I thought would last.
Snap clean to Bush, rolling right. It's a fake. Kenny looks, throws left. Watch Standard. Got it! Inside the 25-yard line.
I think I did. The things I think I did when I was a kid. I couldn't understand the words that they were saying.
Stocco hides the ball well, throws right side to the end zone. Andy Chryst makes the catch. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
We were playing, it went by. It went by. In a flash. It flew by. It flew by.
Donovan 30, 25, 20, running left, 15, gets the block, 10, 5, dives to the end zone, touchdown, Wisconsin.
There's far too much.
Michigan, it's home 35. Mallet to throw. He's pressured. He's sacked again. Inside the 30-yard line. Hayden and Shaughnessy combine.
Searching for the time that has gone so fast. The time that I thought would last.
Stocco back to throw. Four-man rush. John looks, throws over the middle for Hubbard. Reaches up. Makes the catch. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
Placement. Melhaff's kick in the air, has the distance. It is good. Melhaff from 51 yards out.
Back to throw is Beckman. Good protection. Heaves it over the middle, and it's broken up by Ben Strickland and almost picked off.
The things I think I did when I was a kid.
Donovan back to throw. Pressure coming. Tyler looking. Winds up. Goes deep. Right side. Luke Swan. And he makes the catch. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Pretty good group, and a group that's been involved in a whole lot of winning. Coming up, our Great Dane Great Question of the Week, and in a moment, what's ahead for the Badgers? Stay with us. There will be one more game for the Badgers. When and where that will be, of course, remains to be seen. But once again, Wisconsin will be bowling. But first, a little rest, a chance to heal the bumps and bruises, and then the workout to resume. And Paul, I know that's something that every coach, yourself included, cherishes, the extra practices leading to the bowl game, right?
It's one of the best things that you have, and so it's a great formula here. We got the Thanksgiving to just kind of relax and everyone get away and get back home, and then we get back right into it. And we've talked already with some of the younger players. This is an extra spring ball for us, and so we kind of do a good job, I think, of balancing, having the older guys staying sharp and getting ready or getting healed up. You know, talked to Travis after the game, you know, and he talked about, you know, just kind of get a little bit of rest, and then, but I'll be ready to go. You know, you get all the guys there and getting Van and Hoovel back,
right.
and so there's a lot of things with the rest, but the young guys getting a lot of practice. It's the best. I love this time of the year.
Yeah, I know you really cherish those extra practices, and of course the bowl game dates and opponents and all of that still to be determined. When we continue, we'll have our Great Dane Great Question of the Week as the Badger Sports. This week's installment of the Great Dane Great Question of the Week comes from Dave out of Milwaukee. Paul wants to know that Dave says he's seen a little bit of Allen Everidge, but he's curious about the other quarterbacks, such as Dustin Shearer. How are they developing?
Well, you know, I think, obviously, like you said, we've seen a little bit about Allen, but Dustin, I'm excited, and that's what we were talking about in the previous segment, that the bowl practice, and to see Dustin, Scott Tolzien has done a heck of a job in our scout teams, and James Stallings, so it's really an exciting time for us, and I'm really looking forward to getting some good work with them. And I think we got a good young group there.
All right, again, the benefits of bowl practice is a great opportunity for those guys, among others. And we thank Dave for his question, for having his question chosen. He can pick up a gift certificate to the Great Dane Pub and Brewery with locations downtown as well as Fitchburg and Hilldale. Join us Thursday nights during the football season. The next date to be determined for the head coach's radio show, which, of course, will preview the bowl game. But when that'll be, it'll be at the Great Dane in Fitchburg at 7 o'clock sometime in December. That'll do it for us this week. We'll have a bowl preview television show also sometime in December. And next week, the Badger Sports Report will continue with men's basketball coach Bo Ryan. Thanks for watching.